When I went to deliver medication to my firefighter husband, I got into a car accident, crashing into a guardrail. The car doors were locked, and thick smoke billowed from outside the vehicle. I called Marcus for help, but he was out on a mission to keep him from worrying. I suppressed my fear and prepared to rescue myself. The moment the fire ignited, I pushed the car door open with all my might, but my leg was trapped and I couldn't move. In my despair, Alex, Marcus's commanding officer, arrived with his team inadvertently. I overheard Alex's interrogation of Marcus. Grace is pregnant. How could you prioritize Sarah's child over saving your own wife? Lily has pneumonia, and Sarah can't manage on her own. I know Grace is safe with all of you there. Disappointed, I chose to volunteer as a teacher in Maple. Yet Marcus, who was defending Sarah, searched everywhere for me after I left. Besides, if Sarah's husband hadn't saved Grace back then, I would have been the one to endure the pain of separation. Helping in Lily now is my way of atoning for Grace. Alex, exasperated, clutched his forehead with one hand, his voice laced with blame. No one knows what the fire scene was truly like. Are you really willing to risk your future based solely on Sarah's words? Is it worth it? It is, if the child had been lost today, or if Grace had been injured. My guilt would have been even greater. The glass slipped from my hand and shattered on the floor, tears instantly streaming down my face. I muffled my mouth, preventing any sobs from escaping. I couldn't believe this was my husband, the father of my child. I stepped forward, wanting to grab his phone and demand from Marcus, which was more important, his wife and child, or his childhood friend. I forced myself to stand despite the pain, and a sharp ache in my lower abdomen made me cry out. Within moments, blood soaked my white dress. Hearing the commotion, Alex rushed toward me. His face instantly tightened when he saw the blood dripping to the ground. He scooped me up and hurried towards the arriving ambulance. After examining me, the doctor shook her head with a resigned expression. The adult is injured, emotionally agitated, and experiencing heavy bleeding. It will be very difficult to save the child. Please contact family members immediately. My eyes filled with sorrow, and my hands slowly caressed my swollen abdomen. This child was something I had longed for 3 years before leaving. I had just customized his crib and clothes online for when he was born. In just an hour, I was told the child was in danger. Doctor, I'm not afraid of the pain. Please help me. My baby is already over 7 months old. Even if you can just save him for 1 more month. I sobbed uncontrollably, pleading with the doctor. The doctor only glanced at me, continuing her work. No one spoke in the ambulance, only the sound of medical equipment and Alex's phone ringing. Seeing his furrowed brow, I knew Marcus wasn't willing to answer the call. I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and spoke with disappointment. Call him on my phone. My baby and I need him. I was unwilling to accept it, even if Sarah's husband had saved me. Marcus should have been by my side in such a critical moment. Moreover, it wasn't him who saved me back then. It was Alex. We had explained this to Marcus countless times, but he only believed Sarah. The phone rang for a long time before Marcus finally answered. His voice, however, carried a note of impatience. Grace, you're not seriously injured. Lily is scared right now and wants me to stay with her. I'll come home tonight to take care of you. Alex glanced at me, his voice unintentionally rising. Grace is having a major hemorrhage right now, and the baby is in danger. Get to Metro Hospital immediately. Marcus didn't respond, but I heard Sarah's soft voice. Officer just said it was a minor injury. Now it's dangerous in such a short time. Is just jealous and faking it because she knows you're here. Well, whether it's true or not, you should still go see her. Marcus, angered, sharply ordered Alex to hand the phone to me. I didn't care whether Marcus had come earlier or not. I just wanted to find support immediately. I choked out. Marcus, I'm in so much pain. I want to. Uncle, Lily wants strawberries. My words were cut off by a girl's sweet voice from the other end. My heart sank, and I knew Marcus wouldn't come. The next second, he impatiently dismissed me. Grace, I know you're scared after the accident, but you can't take it out on the baby. Sarah lost her husband and it's hard for her with a child. I'll come back to you once Lily is better. I thought if I just showed weakness, Marcus would find an excuse to come. But now I understood that when it came to Sarah, all his reason vanished. I weakly pleaded, wanting him to be with me. What I got in return was a disconnected call. With pained eyes, I looked at Alex and asked what was on my mind. Has not been back to the fire station for 5 days, staying with Sarah and Lily the whole time. He saw that he couldn't hide it from me and could only nod in admission. I smiled, and tears welled up in my eyes. 5 days ago, Marcus wanted to bring Sarah and Lily home to take care of them. When I disagreed, we had a huge fight, and he hadn't come home since that day. Today, he called to say he had run out of stomach medication. I thought he was trying to reconcile, but I didn't expect him to push me into this abyss. I was consumed by anxiety, constantly pinching my hand to try and relieve it. The resentment in my heart ultimately couldn't withstand my physical weakness, and I fell into darkness. Vaguely, I heard the doctors performing resuscitation. I also heard Alex's angry shouts after calling Marcus. Gradually, silence fell, but I still felt something detach from my body. When I woke up, looking at my slightly bulging lower abdomen, I burst into tears. I ultimately couldn't keep the baby. The doctor said that due to my emotional agitation and the impact causing a 1/3 placental abruption, I lost him. When I heard this news, I just nodded numbly. The pain in my heart had already spread through my limbs. Even breathing hurt. You'll have other children in the future. You need to take care of yourself. Where is Marcus? I interrupted Alex's comfort with a hoarse voice. His face hardened, and his eyes darted away, avoiding mine. I guessed then that Marcus hadn't appeared at all in the 2 days since the accident. I laughed bitterly, and tears immediately fell. He's still with Sarah and Lily. What about me and our baby? Unwilling to tolerate it any longer, I called Marcus. As soon as the call connected, I heard a call bell on the other end. My voice displeased, I asked, "Are you at the hospital?" "Yeah. Lily's still not feeling well, so we came to Metro Hospital to get checked. I'll head home once they're settled." My heart immediately ached, but I still told him I was hospitalized in the OB-GYN department. The moment I spoke, Marcus became furious. 1 minute it's heavy bleeding. The next it's the OB-GYN department. Grace, what exactly are you and Alex trying to pull? I already called the auto repair shop. Even though the car is severely damaged, there's no blood inside. You're willing to tell such lies just to stop me from helping Sarah. Grace, remember, you owe Sarah and Lily. I'm atoning for you. My heart sank to the bottom. He was willing to call the auto repair shop but wasn't willing to come to the hospital to see for himself. I threw back the blanket and, enduring the throbbing pain in my abdomen, walked towards the pediatric. Seeing the sign for the pediatric, I couldn't help but scoff. The furthest distance was just 1 floor, yet he was unwilling to take a single step up. I followed the sounds to the infusion room. Marcus was coaxing a red-faced Lily with doting affection. Sarah leaned on his shoulder, eyes closed, resting. This scene pierced my eyes. When I first discovered I was pregnant, Marcus had looked at my abdomen with the same doting gaze. His eyes were filled with the anticipation of a happy life as a family of 3. But now, my child was gone, and he was experiencing the joy of a family of 3, heartbroken. I pressed the doorknob. I happened to meet Sarah's gaze as she opened her eyes. She hesitated for a moment, then looked up at Marcus. "Marcus, Lily is stable now. You should go back and be with Grace tonight. I'm worried about her." "What's there to worry about? Ever since she got pregnant, she's been paranoid, always thinking something is going on between us. Now she's even ganging up with Alex to lie to me. She deserves to be ignored for a few days. I'll go back after she calms down." His disdainful voice made my hand tremble, and tears immediately fell. I had thought that after 5 years of dating and 3 years of marriage, we had become inseparable lovers, but only now did I realize that this love was merely my one-sided obsession. He was just an actor playing a role. Marcus placed the sleeping Lily on the bed and wrapped his arm around Sarah. He looked down at her apologetically. "While she hasn't given birth yet, I have time to take care of you and Lily. Otherwise, I'd feel guilty." Sarah got the answer she wanted, and she looked at me with a provocative, triumphant expression. My heart completely died. I no longer had the stubborn urge to demand why. I released my grip and slowly walked upstairs. As I got off the elevator, I saw a frantic Alex looking for me. "Have you seen Marcus?" "I have, but I don't want him anymore." With those words, I closed my eyes. My mind began to plot my future path. Before marrying Marcus, I was a high school teacher. To take care of him, I resolutely resigned and moved to his city. Now that I was sure he didn't truly love me, I wouldn't let my heart be misplaced. Having made my decision, I took out my phone and applied for the Maple teaching program. Half a month later, I departed with the newly graduated volunteers. A week later, I was discharged from the hospital. Looking at our familiar neighborhood, memories of Marcus flooded my mind. Marcus and I met during a fire drill at school. As a freshman, I was a bit reckless and pushed aside the person guarding the exit, wanting to take a shortcut. Instead of finding a shortcut, I pushed myself towards a guardrail. Just as I was about to fall, Marcus grabbed my arm. His words, "I've got you. Don't be afraid," instantly captured my fluttering heart. From that moment on, I embarked on a 3-year journey to win him over. Fortunately, my efforts paid off, and he eventually proposed. I had thought we would live happily ever after like ordinary people, but an accident happened in our 2nd year of marriage. I was getting a massage at Harmony when a fire broke out. Sarah and her husband also happened to be there, though I didn't know who she was at the time. I simply followed Marcus's usual safety advice and found a relatively safe spot. Sarah's husband disagreed with my assessment and pulled her, intending to leave. Just then, a nearby sign fell. I pulled Sarah back, but I couldn't get to her husband in time. Sarah watched her husband fall into a pool of blood and blamed me for the mistake. She believed I had caused his death. Seeing her descend into madness, I didn't want to deal with it. I just wanted to escape that terrifying place. When we met again, Sarah twisted the truth. She told Marcus that her husband died saving me. From then on, I became Sarah's debtor. Whenever felt wronged, Marcus would bring up this incident to confront me. No matter how I explained, Marcus wouldn't believe me. Just then, a thought flashed in my mind, and a mocking smile touched my lips. It wasn't that Marcus didn't believe me. It was that he didn't want to admit Sarah was lying. I should have understood this truth long ago, but to maintain the marriage, I chose to play along. He wasn't the only one acting, firm in my new conviction. I walked home. After packing my belongings, I printed out the divorce agreement during a water break. I glanced at it once and signed my name. Just then, I heard the front door open. Marcus walked in, holding Lily. Sarah followed behind, pushing a suitcase, her left hand draped over Marcus's jacket. They looked like a family of 3 returning from a vacation. Marcus looked at me, stunned, then stared at me intently. "Please clear out the master bedroom. Lily just recovered from being sick and needs more sunlight. You'll have to make do for a few days." I said nothing, made no move. I watched Marcus meticulously arrange things for Sarah and Lily as if he were a clown. Not receiving a response, Sarah's face showed a hint of awkwardness. She then took Lily from Marcus's arms. "Marcus, Lily and I should just go home. It's not convenient." As she spoke, her eyes darted towards me. Marcus immediately caught the unease in her gaze, turned, and snapped, "Grace, what exactly are you trying to pull? Sarah volunteered to take care of you because she's worried about you being unsafe during late pregnancy. Who are you putting on this deathly act for?" His words made me burst into laughter, my eyes brimming with tears. "For my good. He entered the house long ago but hadn't noticed my flat abdomen. For my good, he would let someone who affected our relationship live in the master bedroom. If this was how he loved me, I didn't want it." Marcus's face darkened at my frantic behavior. He stepped forward and firmly pressed down on my shoulders. "Grace, there's a limit to how much you can act out. Your unreasonableness is making me look bad. What does your embarrassment have to do with me? Who are you to me?" I forcefully pushed him away and wiped the tears from my face. Marcus was angered by my actions. His face flushed. He glanced at Sarah, then whispered lowly in my ear, "I'm your husband, and the father of your child. I'll send them away once Lily is better, and then I'll hire a nanny to take care of you and the baby." "Okay." Marcus's voice abruptly stopped. He looked disbelievingly at my stomach, which his hand had touched. He stood frozen for a long time, then touched it again, unconvinced. After feeling its flatness, his voice trembled as he looked at me. "The baby? Why is it flat? Could it be that day?" Sarah, hearing Marcus's distraught murmurings, gasped, covering her mouth, "Oh my goodness, Grace, I know you're upset that Marcus wasn't with you during the car accident, but you couldn't have just aborted the baby, could you? Marcus has been looking forward to this for so long." Marcus stared at me with bloodshot eyes, a hint of resentment in his gaze. "Grace, are you sick? If it wasn't to atone for you, would I need to run around between the places? Now you've even gotten rid of my child. You're simply going too far." Marcus's accusations made me burst into laughter. He wouldn't believe what Alex and I said, yet the fabricated facts from Sarah became his excuse to blame me. The last bit of love I had for him completely vanished. I placed the divorce agreement directly in front of him. "You only hear what you want to hear. I can't change that. So Marcus, let's get a divorce." Without waiting for his answer, I pushed my suitcase and turned to leave. As soon as I closed the door, I heard Sarah's persuasive words, Marcus. Regardless of who is right or wrong, it's unsafe for Grace to leave so late. Go find her. Let her go. I want to see how much backbone she has. A woman without family support, I don't believe she'd dare to get a divorce. I sneered, curling my lips, and walked quickly towards the elevator. I once regarded him as my sole salvation, sharing with him my childhood experience of growing up relying on the kindness of others. I never imagined this would become a tool for him to manipulate me. I had dedicated 8 years of my youth to a man like this. It truly wasn't worth it. After composing myself, I took a taxi to Serenity, the most famous temple. I had longed for this child for 3 years, and now that he was gone, I wanted to pray for him, and also for myself, to fully move on from this relationship. The first thing I did upon arriving at the temple was turn off my phone, disconnecting from the outside world. For 7 full days, my heart felt purified, emerging from the gloom it had been in. I only turned my phone back on the morning before I was due to leave for Maple. There were hundreds of messages and missed calls, some were from Alex, and some from Marcus. I went straight to Alex's messages. Grace, I know you've been wronged this time. The higher-ups will give you justice. Grace, no matter what, you must take care of yourself. Don't hurt yourself because of certain people or things. Grace, where have you gone? Are you safe? Every message was filled with concern, bringing a moment of warmth to my wounded heart. After meeting Marcus, Alex and I had also become close friends. Over time, I learned that his accidental appearances were always at Marcus's request. Marcus wanted to help Sarah but didn't want me to know, so he used being busy as an excuse. To make it more believable, he used Alex as a shield, making me believe he was genuinely occupied. Initially, Alex worried it would affect our relationship. He tried to stay away whenever possible. When I was pregnant, Marcus took Lily to the zoo, leaving me to brave the snow alone for my prenatal checkup. We ran into Alex halfway, and he drove me to the hospital, which is how we exchanged contact information. This gesture meant I had one more person who cared for me. Not wanting Alex to worry further, I quickly sent him a message. After assuring him I was fine, I headed towards the train station. All the messages Marcus sent me were deleted. I didn't even open them. From then on, he and I were strangers. Just as I sat down on the train, my phone rang. It was Alex. The moment I answered, I saw his face was flushed, and sweat beaded on his temples. He must have just finished training and called as soon as he saw my message. Seeing my spirited appearance, he shook his head and chuckled. You, Grace, you really scared Marcus this time. I bet he'll listen to you obediently from now on. Alex's playful tone made me curious. After asking, I learned that Marcus was searching everywhere for me when I first left. Marcus thought I was just throwing a tantrum. He expected my anger to last only 2 days, and that I would come back to apologize then. But when 2 days passed, he didn't find me home. Thinking I just needed an opening to reconcile, he called me proactively. But his phone was off all night. He panicked. The next day, he went back to the fire station to find Alex, wanting to ask for my whereabouts. He didn't realize Alex and I had lost contact after he drove me home from the hospital. Still unwilling to give up, he had Alex call me, but the result was the same. Alex's anger had already reached its peak, and the two got into a brawl. Only then did Marcus learn that while my superficial injuries from the car accident were minor, I had lost our child. He regretted not coming then and for hurting me because of Sarah. He started searching for me in every hotel. Hearing this, a cold smile touched my lips. He wasn't looking for me. He just felt I wasn't trying to appease him like before. In this relationship, I had placed myself in a humble position. But even such humility didn't earn me the care I craved. We're getting a divorce. Whether he listens or not is no longer my concern. Alex froze, furrowing his brows a few times before speaking, trying to persuade me. Marcus knows he made a mistake. He's truly remorseful. Give him another chance. His words were cut short as Marcus appeared on the screen. The moment he saw me, his eyes reddened, and he anxiously explained. Grace, the auto repair shop called and said the car wasn't seriously damaged, so I assumed nothing was wrong. Plus, you and Alex had lied to me before, so I thought this was another lie. Grace, I was wrong. I was an awful person. From now on, I'll come whenever you call. Even now, he still thought I had lied to him, unwilling to let him maintain this delusion. I retorted directly. One is your wife. One is your brother who has been through life and death with you. Yet you'd rather believe a friend you haven't seen in years than us. You kept saying the auto repair shop confirmed minor damage, but you wouldn't even go to the hospital to see for yourself. Oh, No, you did go. But unfortunately, the pediatric on that floor tripped you up, making it impossible for you to go one floor higher. Marcus, we've long become a resentful couple because of your distrust. Why bother pretending to be affectionate? Sign the divorce agreement and let us both be free. While was stunned, I hung up the phone. Call after call came in, and countless messages were sent. Everyone told me he still loved me and would never get a divorce. Unwilling to be bothered by him anymore, I blocked both him and Alex. My world became completely quiet. Upon arriving in the mountains, I was shocked by the harsh conditions. There were no small appliances. Cooking and heating relied solely on burning wood. I didn't back down, firmly believing that no hardship would stop me, however. My post-miscarriage physical weakness combined with the cold weather led to a high fever the very next day. Fortunately, the local villagers were simple and kind-hearted, taking great care of me. After recovering, I dedicated myself to education. I also integrated with the local villagers. I learned that they already lived in difficult circumstances, and they persevered through it all to ensure their children could attend school. I remembered online fundraising efforts and thought I could seek some benefits for the children in Maple. Taking advantage of the Sunday free time, I began uploading the videos I had recorded. After finishing and exiting, I unintentionally saw Marcus, with messy hair and a stubble beard, sitting in front of a video, expressing remorse. Grace, I love you. I love you very, very much, and I love our child. After you left, I realized how important you are to me. If I had a chance to do it over, I would definitely stay by your side. Grace, you are my only treasure. Please come back. Fans, unaware of the full story, were touched by his profound affection. The like rate soared to hundreds of thousands, and the comments section was filled with fans comforting him. Such a handsome man, and he's willing to help others. Why can't he find a good woman to love? What kind of woman caused our handsome guy such private sorrow? If I find out, I'll definitely expose her online. He's a firefighter? He's saved so many people. But his wife is unreasonable. Let's do a human search for her so our firefighter doesn't get disheartened. Marcus not only made me a public target but also essentially told me I was nothing without him. Looking at the public condemnation, my face was filled with scorn. I had no idea he was this kind of person. I clicked through several videos before seeing him clarify for me. This, however, did not soften my heart. I reported the false claims and exited. Just then, I heard students calling from outside. Ms. Grace, a handsome older man is looking for you. My heart skipped a beat. He found me this quickly? After much hesitation, I decided to go out and confront him. When I opened the door, it was Alex. Alex was tanned and thinner. The moment he saw me, he broke into a grin. His innocent, sincere look put my anxious heart at ease. Just as I invited him in, he pressed me between the door and his chest. His tightly furrowed brow made me freeze my hand, which had intended to push him away. Grace, hiding in these mountains for a man who doesn't love you, do you have no self-respect? If I hadn't asked all my friends around to inquire about your whereabouts, would you have never contacted me again? No, I would have gone back after a while. Alex suddenly pulled me into a hug. The action nearly scared my heart out of my chest, but what I said was true. Marcus was unwilling to sign the divorce agreement, so I planned to go back during the summer break to file for divorce. I would have called him then to meet up. I just didn't expect him to find me first. Hearing my explanation, Alex slowly released me. His eyes were moist and red as he looked at me. Really? You're not lying to me? Do you know how worried I was after you blocked me? I was almost driven crazy. Alex's words made me freeze. These were not the words a friend should say. As I wondered, Alex spoke again, confirming my thoughts. I'm now a forest firefighter here. Wherever you are, I'll be with you. He liked me. How could this be? Seeing my shocked expression, he scratched his crew cut. Embarrassed. I do like you, but this is just my feeling for you. I won't interfere with you and Marcus's situation, and it won't affect you at least. I won't pursue you until you've officially divorced. For now, we're still friends. I pushed Alex away, my eyes narrowing. My voice carried a hint of coldness. You and Marcus are good friends. There's no possibility between us. Go back to Riverbend City. Don't waste your time here with me. The moment I finished speaking, Alex's face darkened, and he said, "We're no longer good friends." He placed photos and love letters in front of me from his phone. Inside were photos of Marcus and Sarah kissing. The love letters were also their intimate exchanges. Looking at these, I couldn't help but look up at Alex. After his remorse, he still explained the reason. A week after I completely disconnected, The two searched all the towns around Riverbend City but couldn't find me. The already anxious pair returned home, only to see that Sarah had not left as Marcus had instructed. Instead, she was in the kitchen, simmering chicken soup, like a hostess preparing tea for them both. Alex couldn't stand it and made a couple of sarcastic remarks. However, these words angered Marcus, who immediately shielded Sarah behind him. Alex was furious and pulled out the surveillance footage from Harmony that he had found during this time. The footage proved that I had saved Sarah, and her husband had brought his death upon himself. Marcus was stunned seeing the video. He wanted to question Sarah, but she panicked and fled. Watching her departing figure, Marcus instantly understood everything. Ignoring who was still in the house, he walked to his home office. He took out photos of him and Sarah from the safe and heavily slammed them on the ground, as he murmured to himself. Alex finally learned the truth. Marcus and Sarah had originally been a couple. After graduating from college, Marcus chose a career as a firefighter, which Sarah's parents disapproved of, forcing the two to break up. Initially, they were unwilling and secretly dated behind their families' backs, but as time went on, Sarah reached marriageable age, and her family arranged blind dates for her. Eventually, she met a family with moderate wealth. The family parents were very satisfied and wanted Sarah to marry their son. Sarah then made Marcus choose either his career or her. Marcus ultimately chose his career. Sarah married someone else. This became a regret for both of them. Alex also realized that Marcus didn't treat him as a brother. He just wanted a shield. The timeline Alex described aligned with the events in my mind. I finally understood that Marcus's true love had always been Sarah. His choice meant he missed out on Sarah, and he felt guilt and regret. Every time it came down to Sarah or me, he always sided with Sarah, even when he knew I was right. His heart still leaned towards Sarah. This was simply because I appeared a year after Sarah married. I was merely a tool for his healing. Thinking of this, I felt sorrow for my past efforts. I didn't ask Alex to stay. Instead, I sent him away. First, I didn't want him to become a laughingstock in other people's mouths. And second, I didn't know how to face him after his confession, but didn't seem to understand my actions. Every day after work, he would come to help me build a fire and cook. No matter if I gave him a cold shoulder or not, he was content. The students were all actively rooting for them. Initially, I would explain, but after a while, I grew tired of defending myself. But I didn't expect this laziness to give Marcus something to hold against me. At noon, as Alex and I, who was on leave, were having lunch, a student called out from outside. "Ms. Grace, another handsome older man is looking for you." I initially thought the students were joking. As I went out with lollipops for them, I saw Marcus behind them. He had lost his former radiance. His whole demeanor now carried a hint of desolation. The moment his eyes met mine, they brightened slightly, as if unsure. He raised a hand to rub his eyes. When he looked at me again, his voice was filled with regret. "Grace, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I had already made peace with it." And a smile touched my lips when I heard his apology. "I accept your apology. Sign the agreement, and don't come back." With those words, I turned to go back inside to eat. If I waited any longer, the bowls would be full of meat, making it sickeningly rich. Before I could push aside the door curtain, Alex came out from inside. He met Marcus's gaze as Marcus caught up. Alex only glanced at Marcus, then looked down at me. "Hurry, the food is getting cold." I quickly nodded, wanting to follow him, but grabbed my arm. "Are you insisting on a divorce because of Alex?" I turned and looked at Marcus as if he were an idiot. After all this time, he still hadn't found the reason within himself. Just as I was about to speak, Marcus punched Alex in the jaw. "Alex, are you serious about breaking ties with me just to steal my wife?" "Oh, I get it. You deliberately fought with me at the fire station because you knew Grace's whereabouts, so you made the higher-ups assign you here to pursue her?" "Grace, look carefully. This man is cunning. You can't handle him." "I know I was wrong. I promise I'll never contact Sarah again. Please give me another chance, okay?" He pleaded desperately, clutching my arm, just like I had clutched him, begging him not to bring Sarah home. What was the result? He didn't see my pleas, and he couldn't give me security. Why should I care about his feelings now? I forcefully pushed his hand off my arm. I looked at him with a cold laugh. "Alex being cunning was only to find me. Marcus, can you guarantee that you haven't been cunning in dealing with me?" My counter question stunned Marcus, but he still shook his head in denial. His self-deceiving manner made me laugh out loud. If it weren't for Alex, How would you have become friends with me? You know very well whether you were busy or with Sarah during my prenatal checkups. Some things I don't say because I don't want to argue, not because I'm a fool and don't know. Marcus, the moment I had that car accident, you and I were over. Our baby didn't have to die, but your conversation with Alex made me emotionally agitated. So, you are the murderer of our child. I will never forgive you in this life. He was also one of the murderers of our child. Why should I be the only one to feel guilt? Neither of us acted as proper parents. We deserve to live in a cage for the rest of our lives. Marcus stumbled back to steps, his face completely pale. When he tried to grab my arm again, I slapped his hand hard. Get out. But he was persistent, taking my hand and placing it on his own face. Wife, I know you've been wrong during this time. I was a jerk. I was bad. I promise to change, okay? Sarah has already been sent away. I swear I'll never contact her again, for the sake of our 8 years together. Please forgive me. Unwilling to waste any more time on him, I directly placed the photos Alex had given me in front of him. Marcus, you disgust me. If you push me any further, I'll make your life a living hell. Seeing me turn and grab the kitchen knife, he panicked. He was about to say something, but I had already placed the kitchen knife at my wrist. A sinister smile played on my lips. If we don't get this divorce, I'll die right here in front of you. I was truly desperate, but there was a gamble involved. Fortunately, I won, and Marcus agreed to get a divorce the next day. However, when the next day came, Marcus disappeared. Realizing it'd been played, I immediately took leave and returned to Riverbend City to file a divorce petition. Once the court summons arrived, I'd be able to get my divorce certificate. But to my surprise, Marcus didn't show up for the first hearing, so I had to wait for a second summons. Just as I was growing increasingly agitated, there was a knock on my hotel room door. I expected it to be room service, but the moment I opened the door, Sarah, holding Lily, knelt before me. Seeing her like that, I instinctively stepped back. I tried to close the door, but Lily slipped inside. You bad woman, give me back my dad. My eyes narrowed. Even now, Sarah was still guilt-tripping me with past events. I held my phone and looked at Sarah with a cold gaze. When and I got married, you two had already broken up. Even if you're unhappy, it has nothing to do with me. I'm not a bridge for you to reconnect. Grace, I didn't come here to guilt-trip you. Lily's father isn't that man. Sarah hesitated, then pinched her palm before looking at me again. Lily's father is Marcus. You and Marcus should get a divorce. A child can't be without a father. I stared at the 2-year-old girl by my leg, completely flustered. How could this be possible? It was precisely because Marcus had told me Lily was a posthumous child that I had no complaints when he spent time with her. But now she was telling me Lily was his child. That meant Marcus had betrayed me 3 years ago. The moment I was in a daze, Sarah began to explain the situation. It was then that I learned she didn't love her previous husband. She had only wanted to provoke Marcus into marrying her, but he had given up on her. In a fit of anger, she chose to marry someone else. But after marrying, she was very unhappy and unwilling to have much contact with men. So the moment she saw Marcus holding me in his arms during the fire, she started to scheme. That's why she fabricated the story, and the child was conceived the night they met again. Marcus had always thought H lost control while drunk, but he didn't know Sarah had put an aphrodisiac in his drink before he entered her room. Feeling guilty towards Sarah, Marcus had protected her at every turn. After that, they kept their distance and didn't contact each other again. It wasn't until the day Lily was born that Sarah called Marcus again. Marcus was initially panicked, but when Sarah told him the baby was full term, he relaxed. So Marcus still doesn't know the child is his? I asked Sarah, looking at her intently. No. At the time I just wanted to use the child to get back at him, to make him lose everything so he would feel the same pain I had. Sarah's voice dropped. But now, he has thrown me out because of you. I lost, but for Lily's sake, he has to be mine. You've been lying to me from the start? Marcus roared at Sarah furiously. Sarah spun around in a panic and collapsed onto the floor the moment she saw Marcus. Lily, terrified, began crying uncontrollably, reaching out to Marcus, wanting a hug, but the man who had doted on Lily for 2 years abruptly pushed her to the ground. I'm not your dad. Get away from me. The hallway instantly erupted in chaos. Just as I was about to call the police, security guards arrived. The 3 were escorted out, and the hallway fell silent again. The moment I closed the door, I sent the recording of what had just happened to my lawyer. I didn't care whose child Lily was. I only needed proof of Marcus's infidelity. In just 3 days, Marcus and I obtained our divorce certificate. Looking at the slightly duller red color compared to the marriage certificate, a smile touched my lips. From now on, I am simply me, living for myself. As I prepared to leave, Marcus called out to stop me. Grace, everything before was my fault. Let me pursue you from now on, okay? No. You just need to take good care of Sarah and Lily. Don't bother me again. Marcus, goodbye forever. The moment I turned away, a smile curved my lips. Marcus deserved to be unknowingly raising another man's child. He brought this upon himself. After leaving the hotel that day, Marcus took Lily for a paternity test. When the results came back, the child was not his. Sarah hated him so much. Why would she bear his child? That night they supposedly slept together. They had simply shared a blanket and slept. But a drunk Marcus didn't know this, mistakenly believing he had forced himself on Sarah. When he wanted to confront Sarah, she had already left with Lily. And the outcome of the second hearing couldn't be changed. Having no other choice, he had to come and get the divorce certificate. Watching him stand there, looking utterly defeated in the sunlight, I couldn't help but chuckle and turn away. That very evening, I returned to Maple and began my teaching for the latter half of the year. Time flew by, and my 2-year teaching assignment came to an end. Because someone was transferred to the city, Alex's forest firefighting duties ended early. As we spent time together, a different kind of feeling developed between us, but neither of us confessed, and we were still in that ambiguous stage. Just when I thought it would take a long time for us to make further progress, to my surprise, the afternoon before I was due to return to the city, my students led me to the village. The ground was covered with a red carpet. A tall backdrop stood, and in front of it, displayed well-wishes were piled high. Alex emerged slowly from behind the backdrop, holding roses. The moment he knelt on one knee, my friends from the village gasped. But in my ears, it was so quiet it made me tremble. Alex cleared his throat and spoke softly. Seeing you suffer those past 3 years, I wish I could hold you in my arms. Now, I've gathered the courage to propose. I love you, and I want to marry you and bring you home, so you'll never shed another tear. Tears welled up in my eyes, and I tremblingly placed my hand in his. Yes, I will. From this moment on, I was no longer alone. Amidst the cheers of the crowd, the sky gradually darkened. Alex and I nestled together on the village, gazing at the twinkling stars above. At this peaceful moment, there's always someone who just can't let things be. Grace, I'm here. I'll be with you forever. Marcus's voice shattered the tranquil moment. He burst between us, his face full of excitement, bumping Alex aside. Alex, you're leaving tomorrow. Grace will still be mine after that. Alex and I exchanged glances, looking at Marcus as if he were an idiot. I raised my hand, showing off the diamond ring on my finger, and waved it in front of him. As former good friend, wish us well. Marcus froze, the sinister look on his face vanishing in an instant, replaced by a smug eyebrow raise at Alex. As long as you're not married, I still have a chance. Besides, you're leaving anyway. Time will tell everything. Seeing's anger rising, I quickly stood up and linked my arm through his. I looked at Marcus calmly. I'm leaving tomorrow too. Only you will be left here. With that, Alex and I disappeared from Marcus's sight. From now on, we'll go our separate ways and never cross paths again. That's all for today's story. Thank you for listening. This is my channel. The tales I share drawn from life or woven from imagination are meant to offer you connection, reflection, and perhaps solace or newfound strength. If you long to see your own reflection in others' journeys, or seek a glimmer of light within the maze of emotions, subscribe to my channel. Listen with your heart. Explore the stories of life.